So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay?
Well, listen here.
Hello, and welcome to 90 Day Mmkay with Teachable Moments. I'm Mr. O, and today Miss H and I will be discussing Season 1, Episode 19 of The Other Way, where Tiffany sees a terrible-looking playground and decides to leave South Africa, and Season 3, Episode 10 of Before the 90 Days, when Angela scares off Michael's friends by throwing ice at them. Enjoy!
Hello, Mr. O.
Hello, Miss H.
Oh, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Are you intoxicated?
No, not this week. Okay, so do you want to just jump right into The Other Way?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start with the super depressing playground and Tiffany and Ronald.
Yeah, I thought it was funny how they're like, "Oh, a puppy," and even though it's like a vicious guard dog, but I feel like that's me. I think everything's a puppy too.
Yeah, these snarlings, slobbering puppy dog, just like, oh, look how cute it is. That's a puppy. Yeah, I just felt like, didn't they scope out that playground ahead of time? Like, you'd think they walked to the playground, that they would like understand what playground they were going to. It was really weird. They were like, this is like a broken, rusted swing. Why did they decide to go there?
I feel like that's a non-American thing to have these kind of random playgrounds. I mean, a couple things are coming to mind. First of all, have you seen, I think it was like on a BuzzFeed a while ago about like the most dangerous slides? I have to pull it up and send it to you. It's really hilarious, but it's just all these pictures of these slides around the world where it's like the end is some kind of super dangerous thing, like a slide into a pit, a slide into a fence, things like that. When I was visiting my friend in Switzerland, I noticed that his playground also to me seemed incredibly dangerous, like sharp metal edges everywhere, but it was like a nice brand new playground that he was living near. And I think just in other countries, they have this attitude that, is opposite from us in America. Like we're being too overprotective of our kids. We're trying to shelter them from everything. It's like, okay, here's something dangerous. Kids will figure it out that it's dangerous and we don't need to be padding everything. So I don't know. That was kind of my take on the playground. Yeah, I mean, I had more of an issue that it was a broken playground.
Yes. Yeah, that was the issue. Is that like the maintenance of the playground? Like the swings were like literally like tipped over. Like nobody picked them back up.
Yeah. But I kind of feel like in other countries, they just, that's not a big deal if something's broken. They're not going to get sued because their child got injured on the playground. I don't take South Africa as like a lawsuit happy country like we are, where you do have to maintain everything. Otherwise, you're going to get into legal problems.
So what is your opinion on Tiffany's decision to come back and have the baby in America?
It was really heartbreaking for me because I just really felt for Ronald. I feel like he's trying to be a better person. And so he does. I think he genuinely wants to be there for his family. He feels bad that they're in this situation. And I mean, I kind of cried a little bit like when they were having that conversation. I thought it was really touching. It's a very unfortunate situation. However, unfortunate as it is, it was completely of their doing.
Mm-hmm. Right. And because the biggest issue with him is he's going to have trouble getting a visa because of his criminal record. Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. What did you think about all of it?
I mean, it seemed like it was one of those things where all things considered, it was the right choice. But he does really seem like you said, he is trying to be a better person. And it feels like, this, it almost resulted in him. Like, I tried really hard and this is the right decision, but it's still not what I would like. It's still not ideal for me. I was actually really surprised he was like really chill with it because that is a big deal. Like what happened to him. And he was very much, like he seemed really, really to take it very well. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I thought so too, because I feel like that's something where, especially since he's very recently recovering addict, something that could be very triggering for him. I mean, just him feeling helpless in a situation. Yeah. What do you think of Daniel? I guess I haven't really had your take on Daniel this season.
He seems really lonely. And that this episode, especially when they took him to the playground, it wasn't a playground, and he like just played by himself. Like he's all by himself there.
Yeah.
And he said that too. He's like, I just miss my friends. Like, and it's like, yeah, you would.
Yeah. And he was so cute with his friend in the U.S. Like, he must really, really miss his friends.
Mm-hmm.
All his friends are adults.
Right. Which is...
It's not ideal, but, I mean, he is really mature for his age. But it's probably because he's hanging out with adults all the time.
Most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, not a whole lot in terms going on with them. Just the sad playground.
Right.
Talking of coming back. And I think on Instagram, like the rumors are that Tiffany did give birth here, and Ronald was not there with her. So,
yeah, I think I had heard that she was back in the U.S. earlier, but the question was whether or not they had broken up or not, or if it was just the situation that the show makes it seem we're going to. Okay, who's next?
Where do you want to go?
Let's go with the funny one. Let's go with Lauren Allen.
It's weird. I love that he just calls him out on it. It's weird.
Do you have many camel teeth necklaces that you wear to weddings?
Yeah, no. I'm gonna repeat Aladdin. That's weird. It's weird.
He just said it like it was so normal. It's just a camel tooth.
He has some very interesting fashion choices. I mean, if you were to put all that together, his cowboy hat, his airport blanket cape, the camel necklace, I'm unsure. He's just trying to pave his own way. He is marching to the beat of his own drum when it comes to fashion. Yeah.
He started out with his flamingo shirt that was looked like it was trying to be a Hawaiian shirt, but it wasn't even button up. It was just a t-shirt that had flamingos on it.
I feel like that's a little bit more on trend though.
But it wasn't like it was like the white shirt with little pink flamingos. Like I see that all the time. It was like really, really bold flamingos.
Right. Okay, so what did you think about Laura's whole demeanor, all their clips?
I don't know. She was just like seemed not into it. Like she was just terrified that everything was going to fall apart. And so she was just kind of like on edge the whole time, it seemed like to me.
Okay, so I'll have to tell you my take on it. I was like, is she drunk? She just sounded like she was slurring her words and everything was just, she wasn't talking very fast. It was a little bit slower than she usually does. And I was like, oh goodness, Laura's making her homemade wine again.
Wait, she was making homemade wine? I don't remember this.
Yeah. Earlier in the season, she was upset that she could not get alcohol.
Right.
In Cutter. So then she decides, oh, well, I'll just look up online how to make my own wine. And so she went to the store, bought all the stuff to make wine, which I believe is just grape, sugar, yeast, maybe a couple other things. And Aladdin catches her in the middle of all of this and gets really upset and says, this is illegal. You can get arrested. And so she had to throw it out. But I'm wondering now that they're in another country, if she just decided to make wine again, or maybe alcohol is more easily available. But she sounded drunk to me for sure.
Well, I mean, that's not wine as much as it's prison hooch. So she can call it wine all she wants, but that's hooch.
Laura's a classy lady, of course.
But I think you can. I think you can because in Tunisia, what we've seen, Zayed and Rebecca, they seem to be able to get drinks.
Oh yeah, that's true. So maybe she just can freely have alcohol there, and she's going nuts because she can.
Possibly, also, drinking because her son's driving her crazy. But he was actually surprisingly cool, like on the scale of Liam.
He's definitely redeeming himself, or trying to redeem himself in this episode. So I felt like he's going to the trouble of apologizing, trying to explain where he's coming from instead of just being upset and saying these ridiculous things. He's making it, giving some insight into his feelings. He's saying he feels abandoned. That's why he, was acting out like he was. He apologizes, admits that he was wrong.
Yeah, it kind of came, I felt like, not out of nowhere, but unexpectedly.
Yeah, that does make me wonder a little bit if this was kind of a bad edit.
Right.
Because how do you go from being against this and saying the ridiculous things that Ethan's saying to, oh, I'm sorry, it's my fault.
Unless he was drunk.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe feels a lot more laid back after Laura shares her prison hooch. I did find Liam more relatable because I can understand why he is suspicious of this marriage. Laura's been lying to him about wedding, about wanting to have children. So I'm sure he feels abandoned and left out because Laura has been leaving him out of kind of these big life details.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's fine, bro.
It's fine, bro. I was amazed at the very end, like, of their little segment. Aladdin stole. They were dancing, and he took the cowboy hat off and put it on him, and he looked amazing in the cowboy hat. It wasn't the cowboy hat that was weird, especially because he had it.
That's so funny. I thought I hallucinated that.
He had it folded up one side like Aussie style, and it just Aladdin put it on. I was like, oh, okay, I see what he's going for. Okay.
Well, Aladdin maybe would look better in the camel necklace then.
Oh, probably.
Liam should just give him the whole outfit.
The whole outfit. Mm-hmm. And he'd go back to his flamingo shirt.
I thought her dress was really nice. It was funny to me that she was calling it the Liberace wedding dress.
The white chandelier, she also called it.
Yeah. But it was nice. It was pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it was a little too flashy for her, but yeah, overall, it was a sweet ceremony. It made me really feel like they did love each other, at least in that moment. It was very believable.
Right. All right, which one do you want? Sumit Jenny, Paul Carini?
Yeah, Sumit Jenny, just because let's just get them out of the way. And then, okay, so I do feel bad because I feel like we've been pronouncing his name incorrectly, but it's not because of us. It's because Jenny keeps on changing the pronunciation of his name. Yeah, and so, I mean, his friends have been calling him Summit, so I feel like that is what his name is. But Jenny, changes between Summit and Sumit.
Right. And sometimes there's no T, it's just Sumit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Whichever way you pronounce his name, he's a dick.
Yeah. Summit or Sumit, they both have the same meaning. Dick. He's so full of shit.
He's totally full of shit.
I know.
The whole time. I tried so hard. You tried while you were talking to your American girlfriend. That was you trying? Nonsense.
I know, because, yeah, that didn't make sense to me. I feel like he is very spineless. He wanted what he wanted. And I do believe that he truly wants Jenny, because otherwise he is making his life a living hell for nothing. But I feel like he wants everything. He wants to keep his family happy, but he also wants to be with Jenny. And so why not be secretive and hide everything from everybody and just make everybody's lives miserable? I think it's just so selfish.
Yeah, but she's first of all, I don't know what his point was to emphasize the Jenny, how hard he tried to maintain the marriage. That doesn't seem like what you'd tell Jenny.
Yeah.
But if it was, it's total bullshit. He was not trying to make that marriage work.
It was completely unfair to Jenny. I mean, she says, was this fair to me? She gave up a lot of things. I mean, and we've talked about this in weeks past because this isn't new information, but she basically spent all of her savings, and she's a lady in her 60s. She should be retiring soon if she hasn't already retired. And that is just so mean that he is basically ruining her life because he's so selfish and he can't figure out how to stand up to his family.
And didn't even let her in on it. That was the biggest thing. She wanted, if he gave her all the information and she still wanted to come and try to make it work, try to make a secret relationship work, that would be one thing. But to hide it from her is what makes it completely unfair to her. Like, she even said it. You didn't give me the choice. That's what the most unfair part is.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like she was actually not emotional for once. She was very practical when she was having this conversation. It kind of made me feel like timeline wise, this was
Mhm.
happening much afterwards, where she was maybe a little bit more removed from it, or she had more time to process what was going on. What do you think,
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I agree with
timeline
that.
wise?
It's much later,
Yeah.
especially the way the card said something like granting him permission to see her. I feel like that wasn't something that was going to happen
Right.
when this was all fresh and new.
How long is her visa there? Because wasn't it also saying that she was there for 5 months already at this point?
Right, and because I feel like before the shit hit the fan, she was still talking about having like 60 days left on her visa or something like that. Like it was
So is the
not
visa
that
like
long
6
left.
months?
Probably.
Okay. So then this would have been about a month after. So maybe she's
Right.
kind of just, accepting what's going on at this point.
hmm hmm
It was interesting that he had said that Indian law says that both parties need to agree to a divorce.
Yeah, that's not. No, that's pretty much everywhere. Like it's one of those things. If both parties agree to a divorce, it happens really quickly. But it's hard. It's still hard in a lot of places to get a contested divorce. Um, Eventually, you can end up doing it. But I think that was his point. Is even if we wanted to do it, it would take years to get it done.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, moving on. Paul and
Mhm.
Karini. I think it's so funny. Karini just thinks Paul is weird. It's like,
Yeah,
did you not know this from the beginning? He has been weird this entire time.
this entire time.
You're just figuring
This
this out
entire time.
now?
He does seem to have less anger issues with his mom's around, though.
Yes. Yeah. I actually really like his mom.
Oh yeah,
They're not as weird as Colt and Debbie, but I do think it is
no.
weird that he has like an obsession with her hair.
Okay, so I had read something about that. Okay, and it was something like at one point she had cancer and lost all of her hair,
Oh.
and so when it like came back, that was like his hope was all tied up in her hair growing back.
Oh, that's sweet. I mean, I guess that's production's way of saying, let's play up this weird
Yeah,
part.
let's find out exactly. Make it seem weird, like because he like left. Your hair smells nice. Like, why?
Yeah. No, that makes way more sense. It doesn't make me think Paul is any less weird,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
but
yeah.
it does make me feel like, he's very sweet towards his mom. Paul is still weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
I couldn't get up. Like I looked at it. He is 35.
Yeah.
And she dropped the bomb. Do we know that? Like she's still supporting him, not like helping him out. Like
Oh, yeah.
100%. All
Oh,
of his
yeah.
money comes from her.
As a parent, would you do that? I don't know. I feel like, and I say this as someone who doesn't have kids, but I feel like I would be firmly in the tough love camp. Like at some point, you got to sink or swim.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to move to Brazil with your pregnant, not wife, that's going to be the time. That's going to be on you. That one's going to be on you. But no, because that's the way I was raised. Was very much like, oh, I will cut you off. I'm not supporting. If you're going to see, if you don't have a job, he's like, look, I'm your dad. I'll help you out and everything. But like, if you're going to just sit around and not have a job, oh no, you're not getting any of my money.
Oh, I know. That's why Paul and Karina are all up in Cameo's business, because I think that really is their only source of income right now. But I think his mom actually has given in a little bit, because before she said that she would not co-sign the visa for Karini because she didn't want any part of that. She's trying to get Paul to like figure out his own finances. But I mean, nothing's changed. He hasn't got a job and they're here now. So, I mean, she must have given in.
Two things have changed. One is she met Karini, right?
Yeah.
And two is it's her grandkid. Like I know you don't want to like support Paul, contribute to that, but you also don't want the grandkid to not have what they need.
Right. And you want to be near them.
Right.
I thought their whole less talking means less fighting. It's like, oh my gosh, how about you don't talk at all? Then you will never fight anymore.
I mean, if your only goal is less fighting, then yes. You could also fight less by living in different houses. You would definitely fight less.
I support that. I thought she was definitely holding back when he was asking about getting a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she didn't want to talk about it on camera.
Well, I also don't know how much it is the production crew, but I just feel like I get the impression he asks like every 3 days. Is like,
oh yeah.
Oh, do you want a divorce?
Oh, I absolutely feel like he's that type because he's really insecure. I mean, he's constantly asking her questions that are trying to affirm or reassure himself his place in their relationship. So I'm sure he's constantly asking, and she's just like, "Shut up, Paul."
Right. Like, I will let you know. Trust me, I will let you know when I'm ready for the divorce.
It did feel kind of depressing a little bit because neither of them seems very hopeful when they were talking about their future. But at the same time, I would just like to point out that Karini thought that this would be a Band-Aid baby. You know, she was saying, me and Paul fight. We should have a baby. It will make everything better. I mean, when she was practically begging him for a child and he was just like, well, why? Why should we have a kid right now? She's like, I think it'll make our relationship stronger. And I feel like if you're ever trying to have a kid to make your relationship stronger, something's wrong with that relationship.
And I will tell you right now, that doesn't work. Kids, and
I feel like it's the opposite,
it does.
Right?
Statistically, kids make the relationship a lot harder than easier.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it stronger. It's a strain on the relationship. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was yelling at my television that exact same thing. But I mean, she's young, but I don't know where you would pick up that idea. If you know anyone who has kids, you know that it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have to have kids to know that it puts a big strain on a relationship.
You know, a lot of people always think that something is going to change the other person. And I think a lot of people think that, when he's a father, he'll have to change. He'll have to get better. And so I think that's what the hope is set on.
Yeah. So we actually didn't see 2 couples this week.
Mm-hmm.
Corey and Evelyn and Jihoon and Devin. But there's kind of some information out and about them. So rumor has it that Corey still loves Evelyn, which is a weird 180 from him just blocking her, even 2 weeks ago for his birthday. And now he's professing love for Evelyn, which makes no sense. And what is she doing in turn? She is posting pics of the ex that he went hiking with.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it makes no sense. And then rumor has it that Jihoon and Devin are getting married, I believe, in a week, maybe next weekend. And they posted a bunch of engagement pictures, and they looked so sweet. Like, the 2 of them are very photogenic. I mean, yeah, maybe if it's even a post-production photo shoot situation, but it was like magazine quality. They were a very good-looking couple. Yeah. So congratulations to them.
Yes. Let's hope they can be
But I believe they're already technically married, right? They had their quickie.
So it looked like they had their legally binding was the quickie courthouse thing, and then they have the all the various ceremonies that go with it. Because I mean, she's not Mormon, is she?
I don't think so. I just think she's from Utah.
Yeah.
So I think the assumption is if you're in Utah that you're probably Mormon, but I don't think she has never mentioned anything about it. It could be her family is, and she maybe isn't practicing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that wraps up the other way. Can we just skip Caesar?
Yes, there was nothing to contribute. I think it was interesting that for the previews for next week, he said that he started talking to Maria again, and it's kind of like, why would she talk to him? Oh, because he's sending her money again. Mm-hmm. Oh, what a coincidence. But yes, I'm just like, how have we dragged it on? It has been at least 3 episodes since we found out she wasn't coming. Why is he still on?
Right, and that was just like, get a ride home from the airport. That's the end. That was the entire skit. There was nothing new, nothing exciting. It was just, all right.
Oh, he is just so awful. I was watching this with my friend, and I said, if Caesar comes on next, I'm going to throw this remote at the television. And it's kind of like, oh, well, he's going to be on eventually. I probably should quit saying that. Because unfortunately, he's going to eventually be on again. It's like, oh my goodness, we're tired of seeing this guy.
I don't know why the producers keep putting him on.
Oh, it's so infuriating. All right. Yes. Okay. So Caesar's out of the way. Where do you want to go next?
Let's go from short to long because there was not much with Omar and Avery.
Okay.
Let's start with that
Sure.
one.
Okay. Sure. I thought the Lebanese beach was very pretty.
Right. I thought it was funny that he was like, honest to God, surprised she could swim. He's like, really? You can really swim? She's like, yeah.
I wonder if culturally that's like a thing.
Right.
Because, I mean, what would they wear? It's not like they're wearing bathing suits. Would they just go in full?
Well, yeah, I know they sell, they call them burkinis, actually. Like they do sell bathing suits that are full, like ankle to wrist with the head covering and everything. I don't know that it might not fly in like Lebanon. I think they tend to do it like in Muslim communities in Europe. They tend to sell them, but there are full coverage bathing suits like that.
I'd have to take a look because could you see their legs?
No, it's like
because it seems like having all the extra material would be.
Oh no, it was, and that's
conducive
that's why I said it was mostly European because it was all about. It wasn't, and it would probably be considered, at least from Omar's perspective, what Omar has traditionally seen as inappropriate because it's kind of like almost like leggings. Like it's tight, it's skin tight, but all down to the ankles, almost like a wetsuit.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of envisioning in my head. I feel like Avery is just bombarding him with questions. So many questions. And I feel like he's just tired of answering them.
Right, and I feel for him because I feel like he's like, okay, this is the last couple of hours that we have to spend together. Let's not spend it talking about how it's the last couple of hours that we have to spend together. Let's actually just enjoy each other's company and do it and not just like cry about it. Like we have plenty of time to be sad about it once we're apart. Like, why start now?
Right. I kind of got the impression that Omar is just a stoic person, you know? And so Avery takes this as he doesn't care. But to me, I just took it as like, oh no, he's just not someone who is very expressive with his emotions. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But then Avery's calling him out. I don't know if she's just trying to create drama or just need that affirmation.
Yeah, I mean, she's just so used to more expressive people, and she's very expressive herself. And so, she just is confusing lack of expression with lack of care.
Right. So what Omar, it's like, I like him, and then he does some things, and then he does something else, where I'm like, I like him. I liked that he, when he was asking about the visa process, and she was, feeling a little bit doubtful about, if he was really in this for the right reasons, how he tells her, he's like, well, then don't apply because I just want to prove to everyone that I don't want the visa, which then kind of further reinforces our thought of last week that he doesn't really care that much about coming to America.
Yeah, I get that. I especially the way he's really unconcerned about being in Syria. Like he seems to feel totally safe where he is in Syria. And it's kind of like, very much kind of thinks it's almost silly that everybody else is concerned. It's like it's perfectly safe. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird when he was talking about how safe it was. And I was like, I don't know if it's that safe. Yeah, I don't know. And even I think it was Mama Avery who made the good point. Even though it's safe now, like you're in a war zone, it could not be safe tomorrow. You just don't know. So good point. All right, who is next shortest?
Everybody else was pretty long, I think. Actually, who's probably the shortest was Rebecca Zayed.
Yeah, I feel like not a lot happened.
Right.
I do need to say something though. Ziad's English is just awful.
Terrible.
I mean, just so bad. And I just wonder sometimes in a situation like theirs, you don't ever see them using a translator. So it's like, what kind of conversations do they actually have with one another? I mean, not that I'm defending Paul and Karini, but at least they go to the trouble of going through a translator so they can have somewhat meaningful conversations. But Ziad and Rebecca, I never see them with the translator. It's like Ziad's English is like so awful. I feel like he knows all of 50 words and he just does a mismatch of all of them like every single time, and
it really is.
It was so
like, so they were at their glamping trip, right? And like he goes to hide the ring, and he's like, "Oh, this space is so beautiful! Like this hiding space, beautiful." It's like Beautiful is the only word he knows for good. Like that's it.
Exactly.
Everything is beautiful.
I was thinking the exact same thing, and that's why I brought it up. It's like he always like, so beautiful place, so happy,
much.
so
Right.
much. It's like, how could a hiding place be happy and beautiful? It makes no sense.
He made that weird joke about Las Vegas. I'm even sure.
Oh my gosh.
Joke. Like I don't.
Okay, and then how he was laughing completely maniacally after he tells that joke. He thought he was so funny, and I'm like, oh my god, that laugh is so scary. It's like an evil laugh. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? I don't know if it's just part of his word salad, but then he says at some point that he's going to make Rebecca love him more.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? How do you make someone love you more?
I don't know what he's thinking, but I think he thinks giving her the ring, like he's gonna do it. Like
if I buy you more things with your own money.
Well, with your own money is the key, because there's a few other people that just think buying more things is gonna get happiness. That are over here in my notes.
Yeah. Yep. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here's the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to him finding his little hidey place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why people don't think that their own suitcase is a good hiding place. Why does it have to be outside of your suitcase? Because I paid attention because I was thinking this. They have 2 different suitcases. I get that she's a PI and that she potentially could go rummaging through your stuff, but I don't understand why your suitcase is in a safe place.
I don't know either. Because it's going to be really obvious if somebody goes to get it. Like, you're going to know it's missing right away. If it's somebody else, not her or whatever, like someone steals it or something. I don't know. But I guess, I don't know. I think that might be on the producers. I might think, oh, don't you need to hide the ring? Where's the ring? Did you bring it with you? Can we see it?
Yeah, let's hide the ring so we can highlight your terrible English.
Gross.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I definitely feel like we were missing a piece because all of a sudden it goes straight to, I don't know, Rebecca freaking out because Zied freaked out, but we never saw the part where he really freaked out.
Right. So it seemed like the cameras weren't in there with the freak out, but and we didn't have the microphones. I feel like the producers like heard something and were like, "Rush, quick, get this thing in there!" And the first thing he get in there was a microphone.
Yeah. And
then they came out and they couldn't get in there with the camera. Because, yeah, I mean, it seemed to me what happened was she was flipping through pictures of her grandkids and flipped past the picture with the ex, who was like arms around her and whatever. And he was like, what the fuck is that? Like, why is that on your phone? Which was weird because she was like, what she said was something like, you thought I had pictures of my ex on my phone? And then immediately goes to, well, I had this picture of my ex on my phone.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. Yeah, you were looking at a picture of your ex, so of course that was happening. I feel like he didn't seem as crazy when they were talking about it. That's why I felt like we were missing a freak out.
Yeah, that's true. He seemed like he was already trying to compose himself and bring himself down.
Yeah. So I kind of wondered a little bit if he did it because the cameras weren't there, which is kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely seems like when the cameras were there, he knows to be a certain way. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he doesn't seem to be making it any kind of secret. He says he's jealous and controlling.
And I don't know if he realizes, again, with his terrible English, if he realizes like how bad of a thing it is he just said to say, I'm a jealous and controlling person. Like that.
Right. It is weird that he knows that, considering he knows so few English words. Why does he know jealous and controlling?
Like, that's come up.
That doesn't seem like a good sign.
No.
That does not seem like a good sign. And especially considering Rebecca claims that she has had control and jealousy issues with the ex, why is she trying to date someone who is basically telling you he is jealous and controlling?
Seems like a bad choice.
Yeah, well, we never said she was making good life choices. All right, moving on from them. How about Tim and Jennifer?
I like the rest of them. The rest of them are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, so Tim and Jennifer, By the way, before we start, because we brought this up a couple weeks ago, Tim's
Yes.
phone did not fit all the way into his pants pocket. Those were women's jeans.
Oh, it didn't. He must be wearing women's pants.
I noticed it. I
Oh
was like,
my
"What is
goodness.
that? That's
He's
weird."
wearing
He's like,
women's
had,
pants.
Sunglasses were in the pocket, and nothing fit all the way in. And I was like, "That's the pants. That's the pants."
Well, now I don't. Now I don't feel bad about wanting his
So
pants.
he wore the woman's pants, and then made Jennifer cry, and then felt better about the relationship because of it.
Yeah. That was just. Oh, I want to strangle him sometimes. He is so insecure and scared of everything. And it's like he's making everybody's life around him more miserable because of it. You know, he needs to see her hurt to really believe that she cares. And oh, now that I see that you care because somehow you're showing emotion, now I can be a better man. And let me just prove to you in the next 4 days that I'm going to try really, really, really hard. What were you doing before?
Well, and
why weren't you trying before?
She never actually vocalized why it was she was crying, but because I care so much about the relationship, it is not the only conclusion I could have drawn about why she's crying. I'm frustrated with you to the point of crying. Could also be another thing. Like, I just want this to be done, and you're still here.
Yeah.
And so I'm crying.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
Like, there are a lot of things that could have made me cry.
I just want you to leave. I'm crying.
Because she just cares so much.
Oh.
So that one bothered me. But then he bought her stuff because that's healthy.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. So remember last week how we were talking about he just wants to do coupley things. And we're like, what coupley things is he possibly talking about? Because, you know, we kind of went through all the activities that they've been doing.
He likes to shop.
He just likes to shop, I guess. That's the coupley things that he's thinking of. So, I mean, at least they're on the same page. She likes to spend his money and he likes to make her happy. So that's coupley stuff, I guess.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've seen based on his wardrobe and based on all the things. He likes to shop.
For women's clothes.
That is his favorite thing.
Yeah. So
specifically.
They definitely have something in common. Yeah. I wrote here, leading with money because he doesn't have anything else to offer.
True.
Because I feel like he really doesn't.
Well, I mean, he does.
I mean, what has he brought to the table?
Well, what he did bring to the table is a video chat with his ex.
Oh, gosh.
So right after you calm her down and she cries and you feel better,
things are good.
Are better. That's when you should call your ex and make her talk to your ex.
I feel like Veronica has been kind of low key, not like actively, but when she, you know, if the opportunity presents itself, trying to sabotage this relationship.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't send that selfie with the bra
That's
top
exactly what I was thinking
unless you're doing
right.
That. Like, it's not a big deal. Just send it. My boobs are hanging out. That's not a big deal.
But I thought Jennifer was so classy the whole time. I mean, you know, when she was in her little interview, she was talking about how she was so offended. But if I hadn't seen that interview, I wouldn't have guessed that she was so offended. Maybe she was uncomfortable, but I mean, she was very polite to Veronica the entire time.
Yeah, she wasn't an Angela. She wasn't starting the fights.
Right.
What she did do, though, and I noticed, is like, it almost seems like she intentionally mispronounces Veronica's name.
Oh.
Like, she really leans into Colombian and she calls her Veronica.
Oh, I think that's I think that is a Spanish thing, though.
I'm sure it is a Spanish thing, but I think she like really emphasizes it. Like, I'm kind of like rolling it off the tongue. Veronica.
Yeah. Yeah. Like B as in bitch.
Very much so. Very much so. Like, who does that? I mean, why would you? First of all, I beat the stupid out of it.
Why would you want to know?
Why would you want to know about their sex life?
No.
I don't get it. Unless you're trying to sabotage the relationship and you don't want to know, you just want to make things awkward.
Okay, I think I figured out why Tim's body looks so awkward to me. And maybe this is old news, but it's like the upper part, like the humerus, his elbows are so far up, like they're not even close to his waist.
So he has like he has like T-Rex arms?
He does, very much so.
I'm making T-Rex arms. The people can't see this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I think it doesn't help the case by kind of always being in that perma T-Rex
Mhm.
pose. Like that's his relaxed
Yeah.
state, I want to say. And also wearing tank tops where you are very clearly seeing his entire
Mhm.
arm.
I think he just really likes that shoulder tattoo that he has, and he wants to show it off at all times. It's not even that good of a tattoo.
I can't even tell what it is.
It's
What is it
big and
of?
dark.
It looks like a tribal something or other.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a tattoo. I would be interested in showing off, but to each his
Yeah.
own.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I thought it was interesting that Tim is saying that things are great. They should be planning a wedding. And then he's asking her, it's like, in what world do you think she's even thinking about marriage right now?
Right.
You're delusional if you think that she's even in a space where she's considering you for a life partner.
Mhm. I'm really curious because she mentioned it earlier. Like, she's like, I want the guy that I fell in love with online. I really want to see what online Tim is like because he's clearly a very different dude.
I don't know what he would be able to talk to her about. Because, I mean, it doesn't seem like he has a whole lot of life experiences since he's scared of everything. So, what would he possibly talk to her about? Fashion? Buying her stuff? Telling her how beautiful she is? I mean, I guess it's easy to like someone who's always giving you compliments.
Sure, but I don't know. It just from what she said, it seems to be he's a very different person, and I'm kind of curious how that manifests itself.
Right. All right. Moving on. What do you want to talk about next?
Let's go with Angela and Michael.
Oh, I was just thinking of them too.
Her egg might be a dud.
Yeah, but she has a beautiful uterus, so it's okay.
So I think when you're going to ask somebody for a favor, especially a big favor like asking for, one of their children, potentially one of their children, asking for their DNA.
Yes.
As soon as they answer the phone, you should yell at them about how messy the house is. It's a pro tip.
Right. If you want something, be nice. Yeah, I thought Skyla was. I mean, she's made it pretty clear from the beginning that she has no interest in being an egg donor, but I think she's stood firm with her decision, and especially because Angela can be just so. I don't know. What do you like a bully?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
almost,
a bully.
I mean, she's been bullying Michael and all his friends around this whole time.
Right. Well, I mean, we're going to get to the friends soon, but it's a bully to the point of abuse is what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
I mean, she's still asking Skyla because she's obsessed with the bloodline, like she's a Targaryen or something. She has to keep the pure for the dragons, but and I get where Skyla's coming from. She's not asking. She's still her mother. Like that child that would be from her egg would be around her all the time.
Right.
She would be around that kid all the time.
Yeah. It's like her aunt, but not really. It's her daughter and the aunt at the same time.
Man, that's like a bunch of old-timey books
weird. Yeah, very odd. But I kind of wonder, where do they go from here? So Skyla has said no. Angela does not have viable eggs. Michael claims he's going to stay with her, but really? Just last week, he's saying how important this is to him, that babies more important than America. So now all of a sudden he's changed his mind. I don't believe he's changed his mind. But then at the same time, if he hasn't changed his mind, what's his end game? What is he going to do? Just get to America with Angela and then just ditch her as soon as he can? And I don't see how Angela doesn't see that.
He won't even have to ditch her because all he has to do is he could easily engineer a situation where she gets so pissed off at him and she kicks him out. And then he goes, well, it's over now. And then just leaves. And he doesn't even have to be the one to leave her. And can then go do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's kind of true, huh? Or I was thinking maybe he's playing the long game, just waits for Angela to kick off.
I mean, how old is he? He's like 35, right?
Yeah, I mean, he probably doesn't want to be an old dad. I mean, Angela's really realistically not dying anytime soon. I know I joked about that, but unless she's, has something from her smoking, I don't see her dying anytime soon. So,
well, I mean,
yeah, he would still have a while to wait if he was thinking
she could also
long-term.
pick a fight with the wrong person.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Michael can just go around saying, hey, this is what
Yeah.
that lady over there said about you. Because I feel like she'd go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's believable she would say those things. Yeah, I just don't really... I don't see it ending well, and I don't understand why both of them are still going along with it.
Mhm.
Because I feel like, how could either one of them see this as going well, too?
That's true. So what'd you think about
That makes no
how are
sense.
Michael's friends? I like how they walked him out one at a time, like it was the dating game or something. Like, oh, he's been eliminated. Walk out of the restaurant now.
Oh, I feel bad for the friends. Like, I mean, I kind of like the friends.
I like the friends.
Yeah, I like the
and
friends.
that was a pretty obvious edit. In that there wasn't even any small talk or hi, how you doing? It was just
Yeah.
like they sat down and she's like, so tell me what the hell. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
And then she's like throwing drinks in
Yeah.
their face like immediately.
right.
Yeah. The reason why I like the friends is because these are the friends that I feel like everybody should have. You know, like she says they're a bad influence on Michael, but really it was very clear that they just have his back.
Mm-hmm. What she thought was a bad
And
influence. They should have her
Yeah.
back. It seems to be her direct opinion. It was like, I asked you about his ex-girlfriends, and you all didn't tell me the truth immediately, so fuck you.
Yeah.
And it's like, that. Why
It's
would they
not
do
their
that? Yeah, they're
place.
going to tell. That's not their
Right.
job to tell you that.
Yeah, and so because they don't support the relationship, he can't see his friends,
Mm-hmm.
which is just so ridiculous to me. Yeah, so going back to Angela is a huge bully, and I don't understand why Michael is just letting this happen. I mean, culturally, even the friends have said, culturally, this is not something that happens
Right.
in Nigeria, and Michael is allowing it to happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's
I don't
just,
know.
and when I say abuse, like one of the things abusers do is you socially isolate your victims.
Yes,
Like, and
yeah, absolutely.
She made him quit his job so she could keep an eye on
Yes.
him. Like, she's socially isolating him. It's borderline, if not actual abuse.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's very true when you put it like look at it in that light instead of like in the entertaining this is a reality show light. But I thought was also kind of going along with that, you know, they're in their respective countries. Angela claims she has pneumonia, and so she's on Skype with Michael and just wants his company on Skype, and so gets all kinds of upset when the friends are trying to get him to go out. And so that was the reason why she hates the friends now, is because she needed Michael to be there. So first of all, I feel like she has family that's close by. Her family seems tight.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't you be depending on them? Why are you depending on your boyfriend who is not even in the same country? You're making him stick around when he could be doing something else. It's just...
While you do what? Like, what? He can't do anything for you. He can't make you dinner. He can't clean up.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
so he can sit on
Right.
Skype and watch you sleep? Like, is that what you want?
Yeah, and be just as miserable as you. Because I feel like that's what it is. Like, misery loves company. So I feel like shit. So I want you to also feel like shit and not be able to do anything. Because why should you be any
Mhm.
happier than I
Right.
am?
Which is,
Yeah.
competition in relationships is always a good thing. As we
Oh
will
my
visit
goodness.
later.
But so the friends... So the friends say she's super controlling, possessive, and bossy. And it's like, yes,
Right.
I
And especially
agree with
that
all of
last friend
those
that hung out
things.
to the end and was like, didn't say anything. She's like, you're smart. You didn't say anything. He was like,
Yeah.
they're totally right. And she's like, he was calm. None of them raised their voices. None of them yelled at her. And she's like, they're smirking at me. I was
Right.
like, well, yeah, you're acting like an ass. It's kind of funny. Like, of course they're going to be smirking at you.
Right. I wondered a little bit like if things were edited, because it did just kind of look like the friends were just laughing just because, like,
Mhm.
not even over anything. Like they were just like laughing at her mere presence.
It definitely struck me as the kind of laughter you kind of put on to like tamp down and cover up how angry you are.
Oh,
I've definitely seen that and done that. Just kind of that kind of laughter. Because they know they can't. They're smarter than her. They know they can't. They're not going to go on TV and scream at an old lady. Like, why would you do that?
right. Right. I do think it would have made me mad, though, if someone was just kind of laughing at a situation. Like when you're trying to be serious and then the other person's just kind of laughing. So I'm not saying that they're wrong. I mean, I am 100% team
Mhm.
goofball. But I can see how that is definitely stoking the fire from Angela's perspective. Like, you're laughing at me. I'm trying to have a
Oh,
serious conversation with
yeah. I
you.
mean, we're both teachers. We both know what it's like to get angry and then have people laugh at you because you're angry. So we've been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Right. Right. I just feel so bad for Michael. He says he's embarrassed. But at the same time, I'm like, you should get used to this. You think this is the end of your embarrassment?
I mean, at some point, he should have left. Like, he should have. You can't stay. I'm
Yeah.
not going to stand here and watch you do this. This is embarrassing. Go on. Akini?
Sure. I can't believe she was that hungover after one drink.
I am a Akini margarita truther. That was not one drink.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she was
right?
not stumbling. Do you remember yesterday on one margarita, no matter how strong it was?
Right.
Yeah. I remember taking a drink. Like,
no one is getting blacked out after one drink unless she was roofied.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I would take that.
But I don't think she was roofied, but
at which point Ben really shouldn't be yelling at her for it.
right. And when Ben says, "Oh, he's disappointed and hurt," I was like, "Okay, that's a little extreme. Are we just like throwing out hurt? How did that hurt you?"
Yeah. How did that hurt you? It's a good question. I mean, it was really distasteful to be that judgy about somebody getting drunk.
Oh, he was judging hard for
so
sure.
Judging.
Yeah. That actually made me question a little bit because, to judge that hard, he was there. He knew she didn't drink more than what he witnessed. So for him to get all crazy and be like, no more alcohol ever in your life, I kind of felt like he's controlling. And then that kind of made me wonder a little bit, why did Ben get divorced? Was he too controlling in that relationship? Were there all these rules that he kind of had in place?
Right, because he always says it's trust issues. But it definitely could be trust issues where he felt he had to put all these rules in place and she was like not following them and he didn't trust that she wasn't following them.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely did not like this kind of controlling side that I saw. And to me, it was like, this I'm going to categorize as a red flag. I don't think he should be kind of giving her these rules for the rest of her life.
Right.
Like maybe if you were saying, well, maybe we shouldn't drink like for the rest of my trip so we can like enjoy it and not have to like worry about like this kind of situation. But to like say the rest of your life, I don't know.
It's like, yes, alcohol is not going to be something that's part of my life. I mean, I would get kind of defensive about anybody who is that judgy about alcohol. Like even from the get go, when she ordered a drink, he was like, gee.
It's like, are you sure you don't want a Fanta? Fantas are real nice. Fantas with mineral water. Yeah.
But Akini, on the other hand, keeps her pattern up of just springing really major stuff that she should have said before.
Oh, yes. Nowhere. I definitely was like, oh, yeah, Mr. O was right about that. She does kind of like spring up on these things that are kind of random. Yeah, because this one's a big one.
I don't buy it.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely don't buy it at all.
Because there's no way.
Oh, I have a theory on it. So let's get like back up to what it is that we're talking about. So the deal is, well, at least according to Kinyi, is that after the bride price is paid, then you're automatically married. And so Benjamin is supposed to be meeting with Akinyi's dad the next day, so in like 24 hours. And at that point, they negotiate a bride price, and then he is supposed to pay on the spot, which means 24 hours from now, they are going to be married. I call shenanigans.
Yeah, there's no way it's legally binding without anybody signing anything.
Oh, absolutely. So
even
then
in
what
Kenya,
I did,
like, yeah.
Right. I get that you're like in another country. Maybe I was like, a little research goes a long way. I felt like I didn't have to go too far to like look up what the Kenyan marriage laws were. And they had all these different categories of marriages. I think there were like 6 different categories for marriage. every single one said you had to have some kind of marriage certificate. And in some cases, especially the ones involving foreigners, it said you had to wait 21 days. So this whole business about, oh, like you pay the bride price and now you're man and wife. I feel like, and this is my theory on it, is that they're saying that, hoping that he doesn't know the difference, so that way he feels obligated and he doesn't just like leave the country and then just leave her forever.
I can see that.
Yeah, because I mean, sex tourism is a thing where people kind of go to other countries, like try to sleep with, whoever's available. And, they get that far because they're under the impression of, oh, well, this person is going to support me or they're going to like propose to me. And then it ends up not being that way. So I kind of feel like the family is just saying this. So to really kind of emphasize how important it is, and that kind of trick him into thinking it's more of a binding contract than it is.
Right. And I also wonder if it's an even deeper scam than that. Are they tricking you into thinking it's a contract? And then when they go to leave, say, but wait, no, you're not married. Now you have to give us more money so we can actually file the official paperwork. Like I could totally see a longer term scam too.
Yeah.
But it definitely seems it's not on the level. It's either not on the level or it's, the producers trying to gin up some drama.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely some shady shit going on here. Like, I did not believe any of that.
And I did not appreciate Trying Not to Cry Ben, his creaky voice, and just
but I understand his reservations. There have been so many red flags, and how has he ignored all of them?
Yeah, it's not even reservations. At some point, because he keeps saying, "I'm putting my son first." Well,
are you?
You cannot get married to someone your son has never met.
Right.
That is not putting your son first, and so that's like a deal breaker.
Yeah, someone who's explicitly said doesn't want to be a stepmom.
Right. Yeah, that's just that. At some point, it's not reservations anymore. It's like, kids, you can't do it. I can't do this.
Yeah. I mean, the lack of communication, not wanting to be a stepmom, not having the same values all the time. I just feel like, how does Ben think that this is a good idea right now?
Right. So, I mean, it seems like, I guess it kind of, in theory, seems like they're having a little bit of fun now. It doesn't even seem like they're having fun now. I'm taking it back. They're not even having fun now. And just the fact, can you imagine going back to Arizona and like her making a pot roast or something and like sitting around? No, neither of them want that. Oh, that's what he wants, but she's not gonna go with that. That's not gonna be a thing. I can't even imagine what their home life would look like.
I feel like she's someone who isn't super domineering, and so even if she wouldn't want that, I feel like she's the kind of person who would go along with that. So, I don't know. She probably is a very good choice if Ben really is this controlling. I mean, she did give him a little bit of pushback with the whole drinking thing, but she wasn't like out of the question. Like, I can't commit to never drinking again. She was kind of like, well, kind of negotiating with him, but, I feel like push comes to shove, she would have gone along with it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. They went grocery shopping.
Right.
$80 worth of groceries.
And that was like, that's another one as a token of my appreciation. And she said it's a month's salary. Like that's a month's salary in Kenya. And he was like, just like, it feels like I don't know, it just feels like they're taking him.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of seems that way because why is that not included in the bride price?
Mm-hmm. Like, oh no, it's also understood besides the bride price, you give everyone gifts.
Oh yeah, like gold chains,
yeah,
grill. Didn't Papa Kinyi have all those things that he said he should have bought?
Right, he should have bought it for them. He should have bought it for the Council of Elders. They're all like, "Where's my present, man?"
But I thought it was funny about the groceries because it's like, what a contrast. At home he's eating chips and Twinkies. Here he's having to spend $80 for random groceries for all the extended family. I think it's so interesting that they're talking about marriage. He's known her for 2 weeks And I don't know. It's like he's seriously considering this. Like, okay, 2 weeks, tomorrow, I have to make a decision if we're going to be married or not. It's like I don't understand people who are like that.
Mm-mm.
Like 2 weeks, I know. This is the person I'm going to marry.
No, I don't get that either.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, they've been talking for longer than 2 weeks, but
I get that,
still,
but
it's
it's
not
just
really
not the
talking.
same.
It's not the same.
I don't think it's the same.
Yeah, there's like so much you don't know. Like, you haven't even gone through a month. Like, I always thought this, especially with American men. Like, if you don't date a guy through all the sports seasons, you don't know.
That's true.
Like,
that is so
like
true.
if you date somebody and start dating him in January or February, like, oh, I'm just a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And then football season starts, you're like, oh no, he's a psycho.
Oh
like,
gosh.
I can't deal with this.
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely. I dated someone who was like diehard New York Giants fan. And I think we had dated in the spring sometime. And then like fall comes and it's just like he's gone every weekend because he's following the team around the country.
Wow.
I was like, oh my
Right,
goodness.
you gotta know if, like, you know, it comes to be baseball season and that's what you're gonna spend it every night doing.
Oh, I feel like baseball is the worst for that. If you have someone who's diehard baseball, because it is the longest season and you have to commit to so many games.
162.
Oh, it's too much. I can't imagine Ben being a big sports guy. He doesn't look like one to me.
No, but whatever the version is, there's like, you gotta at least go a whole year, so you at least get their calendar year. Like, make sure that it's not something that comes up in June that just turns him into a total unbearable
Maybe he's
person.
like one of those crazy people about his birthday. Like, you must celebrate my entire birthday month.
We have a birthday week.
Shower me with presents every day. Oh, goodness. All right. Tom and Darcy. I think they're our
last ones. Good one to end with.
Yep.
So Darcy's drinking problem goes back and forth between being funny and being sad, right? Like, so so I don't know if you know this, but she got up in the morning and was, having another fight with Stacy.
Uh-huh.
She was drinking a Long Island iced tea.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
I thought she was just drinking a soda. I didn't realize.
It was in the tall, like, skinny tumbler glass. It was like, I think that's the Long Island iced tea she's drinking.
I was giving her the benefit of the doubt because it looked like morning time.
It did. And I was like, oh my.
Which is really funny because Jesse, her guy that she was on the show with when she first was introduced to us, he had said to her a couple of times that he thought that she was an alcoholic and that she shouldn't be drinking. And I mean, back then, they had only shown her drinking like a couple glasses of wine and she was just slurring a little bit, but she was mostly the same. But kind of going from then to now, you kind of realize he was onto something.
And maybe it could be production choices, editing choices, but this one, this particular season, she looks very, very deep in.
Yeah, especially when you see her against Stacy, you're like, oh, but I think she causes her to drink. Definitely.
I think Stacy definitely causes her to drink because Stacy's an asshole.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I think it's interesting that Tom basically has been giving her the silent treatment, or at least that's what Darcy says. And then Darcy's reaction is, I'm getting vibes that he's annoyed. Like he's not talking to you.
Yeah.
that's a bigger issue.
She's like, you really gotta wave and put your flags out to get her to get any of the signals.
Oh my gosh, I know. She could be like choking on a red flag and she still wouldn't get it. I just think it's so sad that Tom is still blaming Darcy for everything. And it makes me feel bad because she already seems like such a fragile person to begin with. She's not someone who can really handle all this blame and guilt that he's just really pouring out.
I mean, it was clear, like, Stacy knows how to push her buttons, and she knows how to push away, and in such a way that not everybody sees her pushing Darcy's buttons. And she's very much, I don't know who's more manipulative, her or Tom, because they both are super manipulative. Because she comes out of nowhere and is like, Darcy's in a mood. Yeah. Like, already, like, puts everybody on the outside against Darcy from the get-go. And then, that's right. But, I don't know, Tom can't be that dense that he's missing Stacy prodding her, and then blames her for everything. Well, it's all your fault. I mean, he said something to that effect. It's all your fault.
Oh yeah, Yeah. No, I definitely think Tom is, just he knows what's going on. I think Tom is definitely manipulative in this sense. I mean, how many times Darcy said, I love you, just like staring at him, waiting for a response, and he just stares right back at her.
Right. Well, they ended the episode on that.
Yeah.
They ended it on him just like he looked at her and then looked at the camera. Like, that's just cold.
I know. I mean, he can't even say, I know this is like not the appropriate response, but he can't even say something like acknowledging it, like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. He just like stares at her like she said something wrong.
Because I mean, at a certain point, when she does it, it's like Paul in the divorce. When she does it every 5 goddamn minutes, you can see like, just stop. I'm not going to say it back. Just stop.
A phrase I would be happy never hearing again: tit for tat, especially with the two of them. It's like now all I think about are tits.
Well, it's hard to not notice that. Think about that when they're around, just because they're always like,
right.
They're just
they're out there
and
for
she
sure.
Always wears that same like they're big and they're fake, and she wears that super low cut in the back tank top under her jacket, something, and they dressed alike.
Yeah.
Why are they 44-year-old dressing alike?
Oh gosh. They had the same hats.
No, they do.
They just have the same clothes. Because wasn't there happened a couple episodes about how Stacy came out in the dress and Darcy was all mad at her, saying, "Well, now I can't wear that dress because Tom has seen it on you." It's like, oh my gosh.
Well, and then she's like, because when they first got there, she was like, "I have to change my shoes because I know Stacy's going to be wearing these shoes, so I have to wear these shoes." It's like, oh.
Too much.
I mean, people have issues with height, and I don't get. There's a lot of things. I don't get the height thing because I'm tall enough that I've never been like, I feel inadequate because I'm shorter than them.
Okay, so what I thought was interesting is, one of the things that's going on right now in the real world is that Darcy is trying to get enough votes to be on the Maxim cover, and so I know, yeah, Mr. O is making a face, yeah.
They know Maxim is like for 18-year-old boys, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Apparently there's different categories of things, and so I don't know what her category is supposed to be, but it's not supposed to be the young and hot one. It's not the old people one either. I don't really remember. I didn't look too much in it, but she's actually doing pretty well in it. I guess she has a lot of followers, and maybe people are just voting just because. Actually, I think I know what category is. I think it's some kind of charity thing. And so in order to vote, you have to pay some amount of money because it's going towards a charity. So, but anyways, the reason why I brought that up was because on it, it's, you're supposed to be a model. And so they have like height. And I think she listed herself as 5'7". And I was like, no way, girl is 5'7". No way. Maybe 5'1" with 6-inch heels.
If she's 5'7", Tom is 6'9".
I was like, there's no way that girl is 5'7". No way. I certainly call shenanigans on that one. Oh, another mention of her vision board.
I caught it. He's been on my vision board for a long time. Why? Oh.
Yes, why? Why would you say that out loud? Exactly. That's so embarrassing.
Exactly. You're telling people that you have a vision board and telling them what's on it.
Yes. Yeah. You're my dream man. I cut out your Facebook picture and stuck it on my vision board.
Oh, that just sounds so creepy. Oh man. Yep. So how'd you like Tom's Irish twin?
Okay, so she has a lot of hate on Reddit. And I didn't think she was that bad.
She looked worse in like the previews, like before it went to break every time, than she seemed actually in the scene. I will say this, and I don't know if she's wrong. She seems to think very little of Tom. Like, I don't think she was going after Darcy as much as she was like, no, Tom's an idiot, and he cannot stay with one woman, and please don't rely on this because he's an asshole and he's going to leave.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Like, she was
Mhm.
perfectly pleasant to Darcy. She didn't say, at least to Darcy's face, anything that was remotely negative. I thought it was funny that the partner was kind of talking about, or actually both of them were saying, oh, she's exactly what I would picture Tom going for, like big boobs, like lots of makeup.
Fake
Yeah.
eyelashes.
Yeah. Saying, I think the partner said, like, the eyelashes are in your face. Yeah, but I thought she was very polite to Darcy. And even when she was kind of doing her little interview, she never said anything bad about Darcy as a person. I mean, if anything, she said, oh, she really seems to care for him. I mean, she did say some things about her looks, but I mean, at the same time,
Mhm.
consider the source here.
Right.
The sister is not taking super great care
Sure.
of her appearance compared to Darcy. And I mean, and even then, different styles.
Mhm.
Definitely going for a completely different look. So I don't know. I didn't mind the sister. I didn't think she was so terrible, but like I said, getting a lot of Reddit hate.
No, I thought it was. She did. She was coming strong with the direct and awkward questions like, "Are you lovers?" Like, oh, that is just a weird question to ask.
He said something at the beginning about how she asks questions for a living, and I
Yes,
was
I
like,
was
"What
curious
living
too.
is
Like,
that?"
is she
I was like, "Lawyer?"
like a journalism sort?
Yeah, I was thinking reporter, like a journalist, or
Oh man,
maybe a radio
yeah.
show
And she could be a
host.
psychologist, I guess. She could be a therapist. They
Yes,
ask a lot of questions.
right.
Yeah.
Teachers ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, we don't get as many answers. It's good.
Yeah,
Oh.
a lot of I don't know. Mm. Yeah. Um. I I just their dynamic was interesting too. I kind of felt like Tom shouldn't judge Stacy and Darcy so hard.
No, not if they have that dynamic.
Definitely a little bit of rivalry between the two of them. I think they definitely had a lot more healthy communication
Mhm.
because I mean he said, like I'm a little bit of jealous of what you and your partner have, which I mean at least he's not being underhanded
Right.
about saying that and making snarky comments like, "Oh, you and your partner." I mean at least he said things, but you know, definitely the sister kind of throwing him under the bus when it came to a couple things didn't make Tom didn't shed him in the best light.
Oh, so we definitely agree that the Airbnb is because his place is a dump, right?
He does. Okay, so before you could argue it's because, oh, he wanted to be in London, but now you're in where your place is and you're still at an Airbnb. Actually, I think the rumor is that he lives with his parents.
Mm. But he said he lives next door to his sister.
Yeah, so maybe it's a whole family affair.
Yeah.
But I think his argument, and I don't even know if it's a rumor so much as that he's pretty open about it. Like he's saying, well, I travel and I'm off, jet setting all the time. So why would I have my own place? So I don't think he would be particularly embarrassed about that, but I don't know.
Well, depends on what kind of place it is.
Yeah, right. Did you see the Sherwood Forest Visitor Center?
Sure did.
Yeah.
I would go there. No, I wouldn't go there. It's probably super boring. What is it? It's a forest. Is there anything in it? Not really.
Oh, well, they did walk the dog in some park.
The British bulldog that he had. Oh my God. Like, I don't even know. I doubt it's even his real dog. They just are going so much like, he must be the most British person. What kind of dog would make him the most British?
I'm for it because the scenes of Darcy getting dragged around by the dog.
I couldn't figure out what she was wearing on her feet. She was wearing some sort of sandal, croc, something that was flopping around as she was chasing that dog everywhere. Better than heels.
So I think the actual official fashion title for it is she was wearing a mule.
Mm-hmm.
So mule is kind of like the front half is a shoe, like almost like a flat or a heel, and then the back end is just open. So it's kind of like a slipper you just wear out, but it's like more like a regular shoe. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Myself,
I only know about
shoes.
Tennis shoes and dress shoes. Those are my two categories of shoes.
All right. Do you want to do student of the week or life lessons first?
Let's do student of the week first.
Okay. Student of the week.
My student of the week is Paul's mom, because I liked how she laid it on the line for him and was like, I'm going to retire. I'm going to have to cut you off, and you have to stop being a baby. I liked that conversation they had. And I liked how it didn't, like, he's the one, she feels like the one person that could say that to Paul that wouldn't get a defensive, snippy reaction out of. Like, Karini said the same thing. He would be like, but you're talking to other men. Like, so I appreciated Paul's mom for bringing the truth.
Yeah, I guess the family members are kind of the heroes of the week because my student of the week is Skyla for recognizing what a terrible idea it is for her mom and Michael to have a kid and just saying no. All right, what about class dunce of the week?
I'm gonna put you in timeout.
All right, class dunce. I'm putting in timeout. I'm putting Zayed in timeout.
Gosh.
Mostly for that weird neck grab that he did at the end.
Yeah, that was scary.
He like just had her head, and he like was making weird, like crazy eyes, and was just like brought her head in. It just looked.
Oh, she gave him a look.
Weird. Yeah, she gave him a look. What had happened, and I just it looked, borderline scary. The way he was handling her like that, and that made me nervous for, especially when it was all in relation for him being jealous of the ex-husband,
right?
Which isn't actually an ex-husband yet.
Yeah.
So that made me like nervous for that. As seemed like it made her very nervous for it too, as it should.
Right. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you because I just feel like in that particular scene, he was, well, in that whole segment, he was trying to hide how crazy he was for the cameras. And so, yeah, that definitely was something I picked up on too. Scary. Okay, my class dunce of the week actually comes from a bonus scene clip that I kind of stumbled across because I just had it, running in the background while I was like just doing stuff around the house. So I don't usually pay attention too much to them. But it was a bonus scene where Ben takes Akinyi ziplining. So she is terrified of heights, which apparently is like a running theme this season, apparently. But his whole thought is, he says, I've had a difficult week, so I think it's her turn to be put in a situation where she's uncomfortable. So he thinks that by forcing her to do this, that she will somehow conquer her fear. So, one, why does she even need to conquer this fear? This isn't like something that, is abnormal. Lots of people are afraid of heights, and it's not debilitating in any way. He's going to be living in Arizona. There's not a whole lot of skyscrapers in Arizona. Everything's pretty flat there, unless you're going to the Grand Canyon. You don't really come across any heights. I think he's just being an ass. He's trying to get payback for the drama he's dealt with, and I don't think there's anything noble about forcing her into it like an uncomfortable situation just so she can please him. It really made me mad.
Yeah, that seems like it's payback. Yeah. Payback discomfort, and that's not. It's not a game. They're not keeping score.
Right.
Yeah, you should be keeping score with your discomfort and your partner's discomfort. I agree with that. That's pretty bad.
Right. But I think it was supposed to be a lighthearted scene, but I read it as like, ew, what an ass. Why is he making her do this? You're so mean. What are you getting out of it? All right, life lesson.
All right, you go first.
Okay, kind of thinking about Angela and the goofballs. I really think you should listen to your friends that have nothing to gain with the demise of your relationship. So, especially Michael, what do his friends really have to gain if they're broken up? I mean, I guess, do they really care about Michael enough to, ruin the relationship just to hang out with him more? But I feel like his friends really do have his back. And I think, you really have to not necessarily listen, but at least consider what your friends have to say in those kinds of situations.
All right. I'm going to go all the way back, and I'm going to do the other way. I'm going to go to Tiffany and Ronald. And this is just one that's kind of a theme for the whole show. And that is, you have to consider the consequences of something before you make irreversible decisions. Like where you were going to give birth to the kid, probably should have been something you thought of before you got pregnant. Especially when you try. Obviously, things happen. But the things like that, and it comes up in other places too. Omar and Avery's another one. Before you make the irreversible decision, you should know what that means moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so previews for next week. Unfortunately, we're going to see more Caesar.
Oh God,
I know.
I was trying to think what the other ones are. So tonight is the last other way before the tell-all, right? I thought I saw that.
Maybe. I think you know more than me in that. I just like letting it ride.
Oh, I thought I saw that somewhere, and I'm gonna hope it is, because that sounds like fun.
Yeah. Ben and Kinyi will have, I don't know, be fake married or not.
Married or not. I don't know. I that's just one of those ones. I can't see any way a reasonable person goes through with that. But if they're a reasonable person, they wouldn't be on the show.
Oh, well, I was going to say, these people are not reasonable. And that actually reminds me, I know this is kind of definitely off topic, but rumor has it that Benjamin actually already applied for the K-1 visa back in April. So he's actively trying to get her over here. So,
well, that probably would have been about the time the show was filming, right? Or at least after he came back after the show.
Yeah,
probably about April.
I think so. Right about that time. It's hard to tell with these timelines. You just never know.
Right. Well, I mean, the things aren't necessarily even happening simultaneously. It could be the different stories could happen 3 to 4 months apart.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I think that's all that's kind of going on. I will be happy to be rid of Caesar.
I'm really going to give it a try with Maria. Yeah. You know, couples just always fight sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just over it. All right. Speaking of over it.
Right. Now the show is over. All right.
Yep.
We'll talk to you next week.
Until next week. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Step 1, step 2, step 3, step